So, just as a heads up, I am recording this, after the fact of, this is a voiceover. But this time I just decided to mute my mic since I've just been voiceovering myself anyways. So now you guys get game audio while I voice over it all. So, congrats you all. I want to go to the desert biome since we need, a bunch of chitin to upgrade the armor workstation, so that way we can actually, get adamantite equipment. Because my plan initially was to get a full set of adamantite and to check out, as you can see, I'm talking about the sturdy chitin, eating the sturdy chitin, but we need the adamantite. Well, we don't need adamantite, but I wanted to get a full set of adamantite before we do, like, the crystal things that was available. I decided to make a few more arrows, and to get arrows you need rubble, and you can craft, if you didn't know, you can crush cobblestone in a salvage station to go ahead and get some rubble. So, yeah, I just decided to start crushing up some. And now we have to travel all the way to the desert. And I was planning on just setting up one of the teleporters over there, just so that way we can do that really, really fast, hopefully. But we'll see. I mean, I'm probably about towards the end of playing this game. Actually, I know I'm at the end of playing this game, after I got adamantite and did the crystal stuff, so I guess that's a little bit of a spoiler. We do that stuff in this video. But yeah, after we do that, it's kind of just the end. I don't know where I was going with this. Alright, anyways, next clip. So, we found a flamingo. That's pretty cool. I did not know they were in the desert. I do need some thorium since we were running pretty low on thorium, so we did in fact go ahead and grab some thorium. Now, if you remember in the last episode, I didn't know where we got blood leaf at, which is required for greater healing potions, but I saw something that looked suspiciously like it, and what you know, I found where you find blood leaf. It turns out, these red things on the, whatchamacallit, the bones is where you find blood leaf. We also decided to set up a teleporter by where we had the previous area, and we called it desert, and we set it to, well, home. So yeah, we have all of that set up now. Nice of me to do. Also, these spikes, they turn out they do damage, and it is annoying. We decided to empty out my inventory. Oh no, we decided to set that to the desert, right? Then we go through there, and then we went ahead and just destroyed the spikes just to save me the pain in any time future and stuff. Also, these bushes do damage to you too, so we just decided to get rid of them. All nice and chill. So now we still need the chitin, so I'm going to do that before anything else. Of course, this wouldn't be one of my videos without getting heavily distracted, so we went ahead and got one of these crystals. I do not know what it is. I guess it's like an amethyst equivalent to this area. Initially I thought it was a sapphire, and I thought, oh, I can make the staff and see how that thing functions, but of course no. It's a different crystal altogether. Now, unfortunately, these turtles are passive and don't do anything to you, but we do need his chitin. As you see, he did drop 2, so his death was not in vain. Collecting some chitin from the flying, like, wasps, whatever they're called. Then a night slowly approached, so we decided to just stick it out, because I thought Mithril was still in game at this point in time. It turns out it is not. Fun fact, if you didn't know, Mithril, not in game yet. Although it looks like you can craft it, you can in fact not. So we went ahead and just started collecting up all the void essence. And also we wanted a void heart. Now the void heart that we wanted was actually not going to be in vain, since we do need void hearts to upgrade the workstations to actually make adamantite stuff also. So that is in fact what we used it for. Now, fortunately / unfortunately, by the end of the night, right, we went ahead and we killed one of the last guys we did, dropped a void hurt, and we also killed one of those guys and got a void hurt. So we got 2 void hurts in the same night, but admittedly it was towards the end of the night. So whether or not you call that lucky or unlucky is up to you, but we also did get plenty of void essence from killing all the things too. And we headed towards the lava biome, and when we were by the lava biome, we found another one of these, like, tower pits that have, you know, all of the, blood leaf on them. Except this one has a hive. So, after we collected all the blood leaves, I saw some blue in here. I was like, oh, are these the azure mushrooms? No. In fact, these are scrax, which I guess is what the, flying guys are called. So we decided to just murder all of them. The babies can drop some of the much needed, chitin that we need. So we went ahead and we killed a bunch of them to get chitin, because the flying guys can also drop chitin. There's also warriors, which is what this is, which are supposed to, you know, protect the eggs, except they're also really good sources of chitin. As you saw, that one just dropped 2. So we went ahead and stole their eggs, just because, why not? And we also went ahead and murdered a bunch of them, and the warriors, for all that delicious chitin. And there was plenty of wars around, and also I definitely did not almost die. No. Why would I almost die? Also, happily, if you take damage from a bush, it does not seem to stop you from healing using the potion, which is pretty convenient. Also, have no clue what this guy is. He almost looks like a pumpkin or like wood or something. I don't know if that's supposed to be the queen or something. They did start dropping some of the smaller ones. So I guess that might have been the queen. But yeah, it's dead now. This hive is probably going to die because of that. And I'm not going to lie to you, with how annoying the flying guys are, I'm not going to complain too much about that. These guys kind of are like ants / bees. They're kind of like a hybrid of them, which I find interesting. But yeah, we're just going to murder all of them for the chitin. After swimming across the ocean, we just set up a teleporter to the lava biome and head through, just so that way we can set it up on the other side. And then we just head right back in eventually. So now we boot up because we got the blood leaf. We have 10 greater health potions, which is pretty nice. We also decided to empty out my inventory. Without further ado, we did decide to go back. There is a castle that we do decide to loot. I don't think I got anything too interesting, but we will run the clip and see if we did. So we went ahead and decided to set a bed here, just because, you know, it will be faster just to teleport back here. Admittedly, we have the teleporter already set up, but I decided to anyways. Just, it's right next to the teleporter, might as well. But it turns out you're only allowed to have 3 spawn locations, and since the one in the village always says that it was obstructed, we decided to just overwrite that one. Now, a little bit of a spoiler, we were able to spawn back in that bed. Easy peasy, no problem. A little bit while afterwards. Right? It was easy peasy to spawn back in that bed. When we died once. But then the next time we died, it said my bed was obstructed. Don't know why, but, yeah, it didn't function at all. So, yeah, I guess that was kind of goofy. So we just ended up spawning back at spawn if we died, which we did, like, 3 times. 2 of them was just because of my own stupidity. You'll see that happen when it happens. Now, there was this little fun secret in here where there is, like a potion guy. You know how I always complain about the frogs? Well, this guy might be worse, because those potions do tons of damage on a direct hit. And this is when I died and just immediately respawned, with no problem, by the way. until eventually. But anyways, yeah, he does a lot of damage every hit, and seemingly the bottle he has is a poison bottle, and I would assume having thorium would reduce the damage of poison, but I'm hoping it doesn't in this case, because if it did, then that would pretty much one-shot you no matter what other equipment you have, because thorium has a 75% damage reduction to poison. We did just grab the potions because they look cool, and that was about it. He has an alchemy station, but we don't need a second alchemy station, so we just kind of left his alchemy station. I just found it interesting that he had an alchemy station. I guess it makes sense. But anyways, moving on. Not too long after fighting the people, we went ahead and have this guy, who's known as a Wraith. He has a decent amount of health, able to survive. Well, when I actually hit him, he is able to survive 4 hits before he dies from my stabby stabs. Which means he has at least, what is that, like 148 health. So he probably has like 150 if I had to assume. But yeah, he just drops the same stuff as like the incendiary warriors, or no, incandescent warriors I believe they're called, from like the Down Under, which is just some bones and some of the cinder cloth, you know, just the usual. Now, we did see this like town, so the other one we were in was like a castle. This one is like more like a town around a castle. And as you just saw, I killed a zombie cow. Now, initially I thought it was going to be like a storm color cow or something, because I thought this is how I got storm leather. Because once again, I did not know that mithril was not in the game. I thought I was going to be able to get mithril doing that. Turns out it is not in the game, and thus I cannot do that, and thus I actually did that for no reason. I find it kind of a little bit goofy that they give you light leather. I guess it is still ultimately a cow, but I don't know. It's highest difficulty area, and they give you, you know, the lowest grade leather out of all of them, which I'm pretty sure is only used for iron equipment, if I'm incorrect. There's nothing else that uses that. So I guess unless you want some iron equipment, don't kill the cows. I find it a little bit funny that they have undead cows, and for some reason undead cows are blue. So is the undead pigs, so is the undead chickens. They look more like Frankenstein if anything, but instead of green, they're blue. But then you turn over to all of, you know, the undead people, and all of the undead people are skeletons, and not blue. I don't know, I find that a little bit funny. Anyways, although eventually when we look through other structures, we will actually get adamantite and stuff. This structure basically didn't have any adamantite or anything. It was just regular loot. Admittedly, it wasn't terrible loot, but it was just more or less regular loot. Also, for some reason, if you see, my stamina bar was just doing something goofy there, where it wasn't recharging at all. I think it might be because I had like a slither of stamina left, but it should recharge my stamina anyways. I don't know why it wasn't. I don't know. It's a little goofy. But anyways, we looted the town. We didn't get like too much. I think we got some thorium and some cobalt from this, but no adamantite. Now, in the middle of this, I did notice this frog, so I still hadn't even looted the village at this point, but I decided to go fight the frog, because I thought, oh yeah, surely this will give me storm leather. Because once again, I thought I could make mithril. Still didn't know it was an in-game until like eventually, but anyways, I went ahead and killed the frog. It turns out they're just the same as the lava frogs, giving you the exact same loot of just some meat and some medium leather, not even heavy leather, which they should honestly just give them where they give heavy leather, or just nerf them, either one. Then I saw this cool guy, and I thought, ooh, maybe this guy gives me storm leather. Yeah, I don't worry, I figure out eventually that storm leather doesn't exist. Also, this is the first time and only time I saw this guy. I haven't seen him ever since this moment. He looks kind of cool. He's kind of rainbowy. Honestly, I think I wish I saw more of him or something. But at last, I didn't. He also didn't seem too difficult to really kill. Once I go ahead and just bap. Yeah. He also just gives you medium leather, but he actually gives you fire essence, unlike the frogs. Ooh. Just another rave. But anyways, moving on. Some of the lava people who, you know, spawn at the bottom of the world also spawn over here. So we have a lava, or not a lava guy, golem, it's a fire steel golem, I believe. So yeah, we went ahead and just killed the fire steel golem. It just gives you the same loot drop, iron and fire essence. Except this one didn't even give me fire essence. It just, oh, never mind, there is fire essence right there. But yeah, most of these enemies just drop kind of the same stuff, which is just fire essence, and the cinder cloth is mostly what the enemies drop here. Nothing else too cool at all. Just kind of the same stuff. But I mean, it is useful to make adamantite equipment at least. So at least there's that. Some of these chests are in like spots where you have to jump up and grab them, like this one. And I still don't know what poison logs are for, so I just kind of ignored it. Now, this is my first instance of actually getting some adamantite. I was really excited about it, but admittedly this was like 30 minutes from me being in here and looting a bunch of structures and stuff. So yeah, adamantite is not exactly the most common resource. Now, as you can also see, there's a frog over that way. It's the fire frog, and I almost fell in lava, so yeah, that happens kind of often. Falling in lava is, well, there's lots of little small lava pockets and stuff, but yeah. Let's switch over to me fighting the frog now. Oh, so you get like thorium tools and stuff, which is pretty slick. I got a lot of thorium equipment from this. As you can see, my gauntlets and my helmet are like brand new, and that's because I just found some while I was out and about. And now we're fighting the frog because I messed up slightly. Yep, and I am on basically one hit to the frog, which is fantastic. And we decide to just thug it out, and we managed to kill it without dying, which is pretty slick. But yeah, just fire enemies, some incandescent skeletons that are just textured differently, and sometimes you find adamantite in some of these chests, sometimes you don't. And then just to show the loot pool, we got some cobalt ingots, we got some cobalt ore, we got some cobalt equipment, you know, just like the works. A little bit of everything all the time, just a little bit of cobalt. Everything besides adamantite, it feels like half the time. So yeah, adamantite seems to be not too common in the chest, which makes sense, because you can loot these chests probably day one if you know where the lava biome is. All you need to do is just avoid the enemies without dying, which isn't too difficult. The enemies are not that bad, and worst case scenario, if they try and hit you, you just block and they do no damage to you. So yeah. Now, after looting structures and only getting like 2 adamantite throughout like all of those chests and structures, since we did loot like 3 different structures and we got 2 adamantite from it, we saw that little underground area, and not finding, I kid you not, like no ores in the cave at all. As you can see, the cave is like barren with no ores. I assumed they would go be down here. I accidentally clicked my sprint button instead of my shift button, and as you can see, this fun little feature where it says my bed is obstructed, but originally it wasn't. I don't know why I decided to change. We got sent back to spawn. Happily, we have a teleporter, and we can just teleport back. Before you ask, I did fall down the cave a second time. Now, I know what all of you guys must be thinking. It's funnier a third time. Sorry to disappoint. So I did crouch, but for some reason the crouch then turned into a sprint. I don't even know what happened. Maybe I hit both keys at the same time or something. But I was holding my crouch button, and it still killed me. And once again, my bed was quote-unquote obstructed, and I spawned back at spawn, which is hilarious. Now, it would be really funny if I make the same mistake for a third time in a row, and I just fall down here, right? Right? It would be hilarious, wouldn't it? I almost did right there, because for some reason me holding my sneak button made me sprint again, and I almost went flying off. Holy cow, that was close. But I did see there was a pillow over here, so I decided to just mine down and hope that I mined down inside the pillar, and it did in fact work, so that way I wouldn't fall to my doom. And here is me, like, about to finish mining. There is some lava steel golem, or fire steel golems, like, right off the gate, as you can see right there. Because this is technically lava level for this area, you will see some, like, lava frogs and all of the lava enemies, except there's also lava hounds in this, which is kind of goofy. I no-clipped through the trapdoors. I don't know how, but that happened. It was kind of like I had to take a moment to think about that, and then I saw that there was trapdoors, and I was like, how did I get through that? And then I opened a trapdoor, and then the entire house fell apart. I don't even know. But the place looks beautiful. I'll show you some of the structures and how they look like. But of course, before any of that, I decided to actually show you guys what is that called? An ember wolf? But using a U instead of an O? That's kind of interesting. I just call it a firehound. I'm probably going to continue to call it that. And unlike the frogs, they're not only easier to kill, but they actually give you heavy hide. Take notes, frogs. Take notes. Anyways, this is what the structure looks like. They're kind of like bamboo areas. And there's not very many chests in them. When there is a chest, it's okay loot. There's some adamantite ore and stuff, but it definitely can be better. There's also a lot of goblins down here for some reason. I don't know why, but there is. Another structure that's down here is basically like a treehouse. You just climb the ladder, It's pretty high up there, honestly. And then you go ahead and stare into the abyss for a second, and you pray to the gods to hope that they give you loot. And as you can see, we get some adamantite ore, some apples, maybe some cobalt every once in a while. It's not too much, but there is a lot of these structures down here, so honestly, it's kind of an easy way to get, loot. So, I guess if you want to, you can go ahead and do that. Now, there is no guarantee that you will get adamantite in these by any means. We got some thorium daggers, but of course, is it really worth it? I mean, thorium daggers is okay. In this one, we got some cobalt, and in this one, we got a thorium axe. So, even if you loot a bunch of chests, there's like no guarantee that you will get, adamantite. I mean, you have a pretty good likelihood, it seems, to get thorium and cobalt. But admittedly, I think mining might be more effective than going around and looting the structures. But I guess this might be a little bit more fun for some people. Personally, I don't like how inconsistent it is. It's basically gambling a bunch and hoping. Which, I rather have my time, have meaningful. If I mine for this long, I will get this many resources, versus if I go around looting structures for this long, I might get this many resources kind of deal. If you feel me. But anyways, yeah, that's basically the only structures there is around. I mean, every once in a while there's a structure that doesn't have any loot, and it's just like a little gateway thing, but I decided to just show off what the gateway looks like. Oh, so I originally thought these were like the blue cave ferns that you need, but they're not. But yeah, this is what the gateway looks like. There's absolutely no loot in it. I did check thoroughly. I even broke like the bushes and stuff, and I found a few of these. No loot in any of them, unless there's like some hidden chest or something. They look kind of cool, but because they give me nothing, they're useless. F tier structure. How dare you guys? Now I should mention I've been looting for quite a while, and I only found one more piece of adamantite. You can also get some iron equipment from this. More thorium. I got more cobalt. You know, I'm finding a lot of that stuff, but pretty much everything else, not really. I'm not even gonna lie to you. Did I ever open that other chest? No, I hadn't. Okay, and then I got one more piece of adamantite, as you see in that chest. I also decided to switch out my chest plate since my chest plate was looking a little bit worse for wear. I almost, looking back at this, I almost didn't even grab that adamantite for some reason. Like, bruh. I must have not been paying attention or something. But, yeah, now we have 4 pieces of adamantite, and I've only been looting for like 30 minutes. Oh my gosh, it's like 1 adamantite per 10 minutes of looting. That's not very good. And then we also got a frog and the golem all in one. Happily, daggers just allow you to dash away. But anyways, I continued looting. Eventually, I did give up and look up how you find adamantite, because I was not finding it in any of these cave walls. I was not finding it at all, and in the chest just was taking forever to find it. Now I went ahead and did a classic Minecraft, which is honestly probably the best way to get out of one of these caves, and just dig up like this. And I found some adamantite already. Now what I was told is you find it by lava, in these little rocks around lava. And in fact, that is exactly where I found my first pocket. But I also looked up a few other sources, that being one extra source, and they told me that you find it in any of the red zones on the map. Now, I'm not sure which one is more true and which one's not true, or if both of them are true technically, because this first pocket of adamantite I found was overlap between the two. It's by the lava. It's down here, but then it's also within a red zone inside of the map, which, yes, will make it be both. It is like a kind of small pocket. It wasn't that many. I think at most this was, what, like 6 or something, I think, in total. And somehow I got lavafied. I don't even know how. It's just kind of goofy. But yeah, this pocket was like maybe 6 adamantite. And I also couldn't find any of it in the mines. And one of the 2 sources I was talking about said that you can find it in the mines. I think they were... They must be like tripping. Because I found none of it in the mines, man. I looked so long in the mines. Holy cow. I still don't know how I got lavafied again. Lava just... It also does way too much damage. Oh, so I forgot there is a little bit more in total, I guess. I decided to keep the entire clip in. Oh my gosh, there was more than I thought, even. Okay, there was a lot more than I remembered. What was that? That was like 8? I thought it was like 6 in total. I saw this like place, but I decided never to not go into it anyways. Yeah, because when I like looked at it, it just kind of looked like water, just like a little bit of water that led nowhere. So I was just like kind of why do I want to do that? Now because the other person did show like a clip of them finding some of it in like the red zone, and I just didn't care enough to be by the lava because it doesn't seem to matter what you have on. Lava always seems to do about like half of your health if you even touch it for 0.001 seconds, which is just kind of goofy in my opinion. Especially since the lava doesn't even do most of the damage, it's the fire that does most of the damage. But anyways, I'm looking, as you can see, that stone that we mined was in fact in the lava, but also in the red zone. And that's where I was told you can find thorium. But spoilers alert, I didn't find it in any of those red zones that I looked around. Though I did find some cobalt, I decided to mine it, but I didn't really need cobalt that badly, so I didn't really care that much. Now skipping ahead quite a lot actually, I just decided to show that the pigs are also blue like that. I also decided to go back into the caves since I wasn't finding any, I do mean any, on the surface. While I was going down here, as you can see, it's a complete barren wasteland of ore. There is none inside of here. And, what you know it, dead end. Now, don't worry, there's more cave. I hope this will be fine. There's no problems, is there? Now going down the next way. Oh my gosh! Another dead end. And I just to make sure that is in fact a dead end. This is fine. There is still more cave entrances. But if there isn't, I might just take this out on my future family. Now we do in fact just mine through that, because that's not quite a dead end, is it? And we go ahead and explore the cave. Absolutely no ores in here. None of them. None at all. I decide to keep exploring. What you know? Another dead end. 3 dead ends. And actually 0 loot inside this cave. My future family is going to need a therapist. Now, I was just looting some chests between all of this stuff, and as you can see, I do have 25 adamantite ore. Yeah, I found, what, like 8 of it from that one little pocket, which I guess is a pretty nice amount to get for, like, 1 pocket of ore. Somehow I got lavafied, just being even near the lava, which is just kind of annoying. I'm not even going to lie to you. You don't even need to be touching the lava, as long as you're just close enough to the lava. I don't know why. And then the skeleton dude just comes out of nowhere. Out of the lava, even. And then just dies. Kind of goofy, if you ask me. Also, this house is completely buried, so we had to mine out a little bit and loot it. I don't think it had any adamantite in it, but I just figured I should show that whole lava zone, because I found that kind of goofy in front of the house. And there was even a second door, so I did all of that for nothing. Also, I found it kind of cool that they did decide to add, like, hidden loot that I decided to go ahead and get, because I'm a pro gamer and know about this secret trick and tips about looting. If you see floorboards like this, mine them. Yeah, and then there's a hidden chest. It didn't have like anything too super good in it, but you know, more than nothing. This chest was kind of stacked. This is quite a while after the last one. This is like 30 minutes or something. But yeah, we find 2 bars of adamantite, which is pretty cool. And since the last clip, yeah, it's been like 30 minutes and we only got, what, like 3 adamantite or something. But we haven't looted this entire village. Also, here's the fire forest area. And in fact, we got a lot of blood roses from this fire forest area. I'll roll the clip right now. Now getting back on track, I was looking for adamantite. I came to the lava area. It's in the red zone. I was looking around. I found no more adamantite, which is just kind of goofy. I think I found more adamantite from looting all of the chests. No, I definitely did find more adamantite looting all of the chests than I did from mining. And it doesn't really seem like there's a good way to get a lot of adamantite without spending a ton of time And the best way, it seems, is looting. And the problem with looting is there's only so many structures, which just makes it annoying to get a bunch of adamentite. Maybe they'll fix that in the future, I don't know. But every time I tried to mine for it, I would just found basically empty hopes and dreams at the end of the caves. No, I didn't really bother showing it any other time, but I decided to just show it this time. But there's like these fish aquarium areas. The reason why I'm showing this one is because I found it interesting that it was connected to that structure. The village structure. Because none of the other ones I found were connected to a village structure that I'm aware of. So I found it kind of cool that these two structures were interconnected. I'm not sure if this was intentional or not, or if this one just happened to spawn here. But this is also where I've been finding some adamantite. There's like 2 chests maybe in these, and they seem to have a decent chance of giving you adamantite. So yeah, this is where I've been getting some adamantite from. In fact, let's just quick pop the chests. Now, usually they do have 2 chests, but I guess because this might be the interconnected structure, it only had 1 chest. But it did have 3 adamantite, so that's pretty good, I guess. So we got 3 adamantite, and we were straight chillin'. We also looted like another like castle-y area, except this one was much more formed of a castle. So let's skip ahead to that. Now, I want to say this castle is kind of badass. It's all the way on top of this like volcano, and it looks really cool, as you can see. The loot was okay, to say the least. I guess let's just do a quick like chest opening sesh. But yeah, it just kind of, the loot was there. There was some like, you know, blood roses, blood mushrooms, and some other things we got from this, which was kind of cool, I guess. Now, that was the only chest I found. We did steal the flower pots, but I forgot this happened entirely. But yeah, one of the potion bomber guys again, exploded me with like a direct hit, which took out over half my health. Which is just stupid, and I tried to escape, and I didn't realize that it was that far of a drop, and we died from fall damage. So I guess rip and chat. This is the extent of how much leather we got. We got 3 heavy hides, 26 regular hides, 16 medium hides from at least this little trip. We also got a few different pickaxes. The reason why they lost durability is regardless of me putting the setting in to not lose durability, they still lose 10% durability, which is just kind of annoying. I'm not going to lie to you. So, yeah, they lost durability. Kind of goofy, if you ask me. It's probably just to deal with. Oh, it's probably because it's a pre-release, is my guess. But yeah, we had to. We didn't repair any of them. We just kind of said, eh. Oh, so we didn't go back because I was just like done with doing that. For context, I spent like probably 2 hours, and we got like a stack of ores from the whatchamacallit. Also, interestingly, regardless of these being stone pots, they take an axe to be able to break them fast, which I find kind of funny. But anyways, yeah, yeah. I find it goofy that I spent like over 2 hours and I only got a stack of ore, not even a stack of, you know, ingots. Just a stack of the unsmelted, unprocessed version. Admittedly, I got a little bit more than that, but, like, it really wasn't that much. And I didn't really feel like going there for even more time to do that even more and such. And it was like freaking late at night for me at this point, so I just kind of threw in the towel and called it a day. So yeah. So I just kind of, if I'm not gonna lie to you, Sorry, I'm just stretching. I'm just gonna leave this as like B-roll, but I originally was planning on putting like me doing the crystals like event things. Long story short, I am going to make that a different video because it turns out there's a lot of footage of that because I had to go into creative mode to really test them out. Mainly because I didn't feel like constantly gathering the resources over and over and over again. So yeah, I guess yeah. Anyways, I'll be yeah, that will be a different video. So this one's going to end here. I hope you guys enjoyed. And yeah, I'm gonna go back to making one man versus hermitcraft videos. Also, I might change how I do it. I might just like make an update video, you know, instead of like showing me doing the things. I might just show what I did over a week, you know, just upload every single day, every single week on the exact same time. And you know, not have any pressure on myself to actually, you know, do XYZ or to do more than the hermits. Instead, just show what I have done over the last week kind of deal as like an update video. I don't know. Maybe. I'm thinking about it, but we'll see. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Have a good day, y'all.